Welcome back, folks, to the WP-Tonic interview show. This is episode 617. My normal co-host, Stephen, cannot be with me. As I told you, most of his staff have disappeared for their summer holidays and he's been left in charge. But do not worry, especially the female listeners and viewers, he will be back in, I think, next week or the week after. So you got that to look forward to. We got a great interview here. We've got a friend of the show. He helped me out as a co-host last week. He's a regular of the WP-Tonic Roundtable show. A new friend. I classify him as a friend now. It's always great to make good new friends. We got Andrew Palmer. He was on the show a few months ago, but as I have got to know Andrew, he has some amazing experience about building community around WordPress and how to build real communities that can benefit you and your customers. So Andrew, thanks for agreeing to come back on the show for another interview. So do you quickly want to introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Well, I'm Andrew Palmer, and you can find me on thisisandrewpalmer.com. And yeah, as Jonathan said, I'm a community builder, a digital advocate for people that have products, plugins, and services for WordPress, as well as websites as well. I'm a Shopify partner as well, and I build websites using WooCommerce, WordPress, Shopify, and any basic platform that the client wants, because we're here to do what we're asked, and sometimes the solution is maybe not one that you want to work with, but that's what I do. I just like to give people proper service.
That's great. Like I say, what we're going to be discussing in the show is everybody talks about you need to grow your own tribe, your own community around your product, your service, around you. Andrew's actually done it. He's actually built a Facebook group up to or slightly over 16,000 users, and he's actually knows how to do it. So I thought it would be a great insight about some of the things that work, some of the things that don't, anything that Andrew wants to share with us. Before we go into the main part of the interview, though, I want to talk about our sponsors and start off with our major sponsor, which is Castos. Castos provides a platform if you're looking to get into podcasting for yourself or for clients. Podcasting is increasingly becoming really popular and seen as a main way where you can communicate to your clients, to your target audience. You need a good audio hosting provider, not only to host your files, but also to produce the RSS feed, which is the main technology that will distribute your podcasts to things like Apple podcasting platform, to Spotify, and there's a number of these platforms, and they all rely on RSS feed. They also provide a fantastic interface, great support. Matt Medeiros is the head of marketing and support. If you know about Matt, he's a great podcaster himself and a great WordPress community member. I was delighted when we came to agreement with them and they became our major sponsor. If you really want to support the show, go over and have a look what they've got to offer. The links are in the show notes, and have a look. Maybe buy one of their packages for yourself or for a client. If you do any of those things, can you please tell them that you heard about them on the WP-Tonic podcast? It really helps them and it really helps the show. And then I'm going on to another sponsor, and that's Peachbay. Peachbay, if you're looking to set up a really quick shopping cart environment for a client and you want a really easy and cheap way, look at Peachbay. It works with WooCommerce. Then you install this free plugin from Peachbay, and basically you can then the client can take Stripe and other payments through their website. It's really mobile friendly. It's really easy to use. If you're looking for a flexible, quick way to do e-commerce, use PeachBay with WooCommerce. You're going to be amazed. Right. So, Andrew, you know, I don't mean to delve into everything you've told me about your experience of building up a WordPress focused Facebook group, which almost had 16,000 members, and its focus was in the Divi community. But can we start off with what is the one main thing that you think people will have to understand when they're trying to build an online community? Can we start off with the one thing you think they need to understand?
Be kind. That's it. You when you're building a tribe, it's so easy to be have a detrimental attitude towards people, because it's hard work building a tribe. And it's actually, when I left the group unceremoniously, when it was sold to Elegant Themes, because I didn't want to buy it, there were 32,000 members. So we built it up, and it wasn't just me, it was a team. But towards the end of towards the last 2 years of building up to the 32,000, it was basically 10, 12 hours a day spent looking at the Facebook group and making sure that we were promoting the right things for us, and trying to keep the trolls down, and also trying to manage the criticism of our own company and the way we ran the Facebook group. Because the perception of people that join a Facebook group, especially if it's got help and share in it, or anything like that, is that you've got a lot of product promoters want to promote their stuff, or a lot of product owners want to promote their stuff, and reasonably so.
Yeah.
But there has to be some kind of moderation there. You can't make it a spam fest for everybody, including the owners of the group. If you've got a product or a service that you're selling, you can say, we've got, like WP-Tonic, we've got a podcast coming up, and that's it. You don't need to keep on selling every single day, or every 5 posts a day saying we've got this product. And what we try to do with the Elegant Marketplace Divi Theme Users Group, and it's still called the Divi Theme Users Group, but it's now owned by Elegant Themes, is that you have to ensure that you're not over promoting the products. If you've got over 1,000 products, you could do 1,000 posts a day, or even 1,000 posts a month saying, look at this new product. And there is a danger there. So you have to try and help people first, and then you get the good reputation of you're helpful, and do you know what, I'm going to go and look at Elegant Marketplace, and there's the product. And we always did a new product post, with just one product post. Whenever we got a new product up, we said new products on Elegant Marketplace, and that's it, and all about it. And we got, in the early days, a lot of people did want to promote their products, and they're saying, this isn't the Facebook way, this isn't the help and share way, and they got booted, because there's some people out there that got angry with us. So we said, well, do you know what, it's our group, we'll boot you. So moderation is key, but kindness is the first thing. So if you've got to be kind almost to be cruel, and say, come on guys, let's not turn this into a spam fest, even from our own perspective. And there is no such thing as a stupid question, because if you've got an experienced Divi user or WordPress user, they won't necessarily know about hosting or any hosting issues or spamming or security. So we try to encompass them all. And now the Divi Theme Users Group, some would say it's over moderated, but actually I'm still a member there. I got reinstated after about 3 months. And I see it being run pretty well. There's 70,000 members there now, but let's not forget that elegantthemes.com gets, and they've got their own marketplace now, and they get 5 million uniques a month or something, according to SimilarWeb. So, it's a busy Facebook group, 70,000 plus. But I mean, More Cohen runs a great group. There's 20,000 people in there. Melissa Love runs, I think she's got about 4 Facebook groups, and a total of about 15 or 16,000 people in total. You've got You've got loads of people out there that I'm actually in the groups. The Grid Pain group is quite busy as well, and we kind of like try and keep it friendly, try and keep it objective. Try, you know, if other people are talking about say Cloudways or Run Cloud or anything like that, we try and keep it objective, because there are other management systems for people like Grid Pain, and there's, you know, Stephanie runs the Focus WP group. You know, that's a very Stephanie Hudson runs the Focus WP group, and it's a particularly friendly group, you know, and that's the key, is that if you can keep it friendly, kind, helpful, then keep the promotion down to a minimum, but still promote. Don't be afraid to promote if you're the owner of the group, because it's hard work, Jonathan, to run a Facebook group, to keep the trolls away, to keep the
well, you've done an excellent opening I call it a landscape answer to my question. But there's so many different directions we can go in this interview based on your initial, because I think what you've just opened Pandora's box is a lot is, and this is not unique to Facebook groups. These are some of the issues that people face when they start a forum, or literally anything that becomes popular online, is that they face the thing,
criticism.
Well, the thing, you know, a lot of the people come to that, whatever it is online, because it has a lot of traffic, it has a lot of eyes.
Sure.
But the activities which they want to engage in could be damaging to the amount of eyes that go on to that thing. The actual activities which they want to engage in will actually be damaging to the thing.
Yeah, and that's why you have to have strong moderation, strong or firm but kind moderation, so that, you know, one of the things that we try to do.
But that's difficult in its own, because it peeves people off, doesn't it?
Yeah, but if you what we started to do towards the 2 years that it was kind of just under my control, is that I actually told people why they were being kicked, or why their stuff had been deleted. And there's a function in Facebook that you can do that. You know, one, you broke the rules. Two, you're being a bit nasty and everything. I mean, one of the things that I don't like in the Facebook groups is the superior, or the people that actually think they know what they're talking about, being very superior about that towards a dumb question, inverted commas. So you have to be, as I say, if you can't be anything else, just be kind. You know, that's the key. And if say you see a post on something like Twitter, it's a nightmare on Twitter, where you can make a comment and you will get trolled to hell and back. And do you know what? Just ignore it. If it's not appropriate, or you don't feel it's for you, then just scroll on by. You know, you are in control of what you see and read and react to. And if we can persuade our users on any forums to be kind rather than be nasty, then, you know, that's the key. And it's difficult sometimes, even for me. You know, I've made a couple of mistakes where somebody asked, you know, can somebody produce me free layouts? And I said, really? You know, you can't afford to pay people for some layouts, you know, and to promote your business? And then I got trolled, and a video was made, and it was horrible, you know. But it was just, you just have to put up with those kind of things. If you put yourself out there, Jonathan, it's like celebrities. They put themselves out there and then complain that they're getting criticized, you know. So we can't really complain that we're being criticized, because nobody's perfect, least of all me. And we try and do things that we think are helpful, like the podcast, like a WP-Tonic podcast. I did a podcast. I loved it when I was at Elegant Marketplace. Me and Mike Demo did this lovely WP Tools podcast for a year. And it felt great, because we were interviewing people in the WordPress community that people had not necessarily heard of, because of there's a tier, isn't there? A top tier of people.
Well, in every profession,
so
in anything, we're hierarchical kind of animals, aren't we?
We wanted the people that weren't getting their voice heard. We wanted them heard, and that's the key to doing a podcast as well. You know, it's trying. not just having the big names on the board, having people on there that are actually working really hard in the engine room and making people's lives a lot easier, and
Now,
to tell
before
their
we go,
story.
yeah, before we go to our break, Andrew, there's one thing about online communities that I have a slight, it might be me, I'm interested in your response to what I'm just going to ask you. I have no problem with people going on a Facebook group, a forum, whatever it is, and they're a newbie and or they're a owner and they're just looking, they've been given conflicted advice and they're just looking, and I've got no problem in answering that and trying to be helpful, right?
Yeah.
But I have a slight problem where it's obviously a subcontractor that's totally out of their area of experience, and
Right.
they've got a job, and they're consistently going on a Facebook group or forum or whatever online entity, and they're asking for free advice and support connected to something which they're charging a client for. I
Okay.
have a real problem with that. I think in some ways it's taking the piss, and
Well,
it's
it
taking
is.
the piss out of the community, really.
It is. So therefore, the moderator, one of the moderators' jobs or one of the admin's job is to point them in the right direction of a paid solution. And if you happen to have a paid solution, then all is good. But you give other people an opportunity. For instance, I've got Site Fixer, which fixes websites. You've got a situation where you fix websites. So, you know, if there's a problem and they've got a speed issue or it's malware or malcare, how do I fix it? Tell me how to fix it. You know, here's the PHP file that's infected, whatever. You say, well, actually, there's a premium solution for this. And what you're asking for is out of the remit of the free help and share within the group. And you actually address it head on.
But how did you deal? You must have had this situation. You know, we've got a couple of minutes, then we've got to go for break. But you must have regularly had this situation in your Divi group.
Yeah.
And you had like you had subcontractors coming on asking a load of, and it's obvious they're out of their knowledge area. How did you have to kick some of them out?
No, well, I generally told them that obviously this is that you've taken on a job that is out of your skill set, and it might be better if you asked for professional help, which will cost you some money, because what you're asking for is people to give you free advice, which is long-winded and will undoubtedly take a few hours of their time, and this is not what this group is for. So, you know, go to freelancer.com or go to Codable or go to us or go to, you know, I'd recommend a solution. You know, one of the things I recommend all the time is Focus WP, you know, because that's what they do. They fix websites and they do maintenance contracts. And one of them is you know, and if you want to learn about learning management systems, throw them to WP-Tonic, because I'm not in that business anymore, you know. So we've got, as moderators, we've got resources, and they're not necessarily affiliate links either there, because we are there to help and promote other people doing their stuff. And that's all part of the community. So we've still fulfilled a community role, but we've dissuaded these people to stop asking for free help on that level. So as skilled people, we should know that they're asking for stuff that's out of the remit of a free help and share group.
Right, we need to go for our break. It's been a fascinating discussion. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. We've got a friend of the show, that's a regular on the WP-Tonic Roundtable show. We're talking about building community on Facebook, on online in general, and Andrew knows what he's talking about because he's done it. So I thought he was the right person to have come back on the show and discuss this particular subject, because a lot of people talk about it, but they haven't actually done it. So, and he has, and he's got the scars and arrows to prove it. I think we've delved in, you know, some of the realities of running a large, whatever online group, Facebook group, forum, whatever it is, right? And we've discussed, you know, some of the things you've got to be aware of. Is it the other factor is what it seemed to a lot of it is there's a lot more need for supervision and administration than what most people think when you start getting into a size group that actually it's reached, you know, it's like a rocket, isn't it? It's really hard to get the rocket moving. And then it reaches velocity to escape gravity, and then the group will grow and grow. But then it's a different kind of supervision. You got all that effort to get the rocket going, and then because it's reached a certain size, there's also another load of work, and that's around supervision. And if you seem to be saying that there's just a lot more hours work involved in keeping an online community healthy and not going down the toilet. Is that about right?
There is, and I think once the group starts to reach 2,000 to 3,000, you're talking about maybe you need some help. So you can reach out to your community members. You can say, listen, if you want to be a mod, or even people say, look, I can see that spam is overrunning this. I can see that trolls are overrunning this. I can see that there's some shit going on, basically. Can I help you? So normally you've known those people or you've interacted with those people, and certainly I've got moderators on some of the groups that I've started, and you know, I've got a group currently that's 2,000. It's growing. You know, we're getting sort of, I don't know, 10 a week, 20 a week or something since I took over a bunch of plugins. People asking for support. So I can't answer all those questions. My devs can't answer all the questions. So it's kind of peer-to-peer support, which is what the group was established for in the first place. So people will join you as moderators, and they'll be proud to. They'll be very, very proud to. And it also gives them a bit of status in the community, because we're all looking for status in our lives, whether you deny that or not, it's up to you. But the point is that people are always willing to help. And then you get into a moderation kind of education situation. Say, this is how I want the group to run. If you kick someone, you are liable to be slagged off somewhere else in another forum that's similar, or on Twitter or on Facebook. Can you handle that? Because that's some of the things that were said about me. I think one guy set up a Facebook group specifically to go against me, and immediately had 15,000 members. So it was, you know, one guy said,
what have you been up to, Andrew? What have you been doing, my friend?
The rival group to the Divi Theme Use group. One guy actually posted, if I meet Andrew Palmer, I'm going to piss on his shoes. And it was just like, really? Do you really want to go down that road with me? 6 foot and 18 and a half stone? I don't think you do. But anyway, those are the things that you've got to handle. And those are the things that you've got to, and also the loveliness of it. So what happened was, there was this big group that you know grew to 15,000 straight away within weeks, because they used the same name, slagging me off, slagging Elegant Marketplace off, slagging everything off we did, you know, and try to destroy what we were trying to build, which was a community of like-minded people that wanted help with plugins and themes. When you have that happen, you have to be able to handle it. And without people in my world like Michelle Noonan, Melissa Love, and, you know, Stephanie Hudson and Vito and everything, it's kind of difficult to take that kind of criticism, because you're thinking, I haven't actually done anything wrong here. I'm just trying to control the trolls. So you've got to be prepared for that kind of negativity.
You seem to be, and I agree with you, that, you know, I try and be fair to people. I try and warn people. I try and point out it might sound amazing to you, because I sometimes come across as not being very diplomatic, but I can be, and if I want to be, and I do. But I found there's a certain, not a large group, but there's a certain small type of individual who, don't matter, they see your moderation, you're trying to reason with them. They don't treat it with grace. They actually treat it as a weakness. They see it as something they can piss you about even more. I've found, and in
Well, they
the end,
feel
you
that you
just got to
can't
kick them. You just got to kick them out because
kick them
they
out.
won't listen.
And people. The thing is, Jonathan, what people don't really realise, what a lot of people who use these Facebook groups don't realise, for the positive side, is that people have very short memories. We had one guy write a whole diatribe of why our group wasn't any good, and we left the post up there for a while, and then we kicked him. We left it up for 48 hours. I think that's quite fair of this paragraphs and paragraphs of how horrible we all were. And we kicked him, and then
what a nut.
So what? Because people, and then now down the line, people can't even remember his name because people have very short memories, and that's the key. Is that you need to be able to remember that people have short memories. They're in the group for a very specific reason, and it's quite a selfish reason, rightfully so. They have got an issue with something that they're using that your group can help them address, right? Can help and share with them. And if you keep that focus on it and say, and again, keep it away from over promotion, you can build a group and a community of like-minded people where the odd person's going to troll you. You just can't. It's human nature. The odd person's going to have a total argument and say, I totally disagree with that solution you've given me. Here's another one. That's fine. If the more solutions we can find, the better. But you just have to remember that if you do get trolled and you do get shouted at or you do get criticized, the people in the group just won't even remember, a year down the line or 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks down the line. You just won't remember. So you gotta, it's water off a duck's back as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think
we remember them all because they're offensive. Yeah. They're offensive, but I don't let it.
Well, it's a part of the human nature. It's unfortunate part of us all. We always remember the really awful, difficult customers. We tend not to remember, and if it's going to be a success, there better be a lot of these. All the people that were happy, paid, used your service or product that you hardly ever hear of. You don't remember all those. You just remember the really difficult people, don't you?
You tend like an argument. If you ever get divorced, you only remember the negative side. You don't remember why you got married and how lovely it was. But the point is that it was lovely. And the point is that running a Facebook group is one of the best things that you can do, or running a community forum is one of the best things you can do, because the majority of people will love you for it. And if you're looking for that, then that's fine. If you're not, if you're looking to over promote your company or your services, that's not gonna help you. So you have to look at the best run groups and the nice groups. And I think actually Elegant Themes are doing a great job. There's a couple of things that I would prefer that they didn't do, or they didn't over promote certain individuals. That would be fairer, let's say. But it's difficult to be fair all of the time, every single moment of the day. And sometimes you want people to know that there's stuff out there. So you do have to promote something. But when we do a community forum post, or we do a live in a Facebook, there's got to be a specific reason for it. You've got to either have a very special offer, or you've got to try and persuade people to use your products and service because you feel it's genuinely the best product and service out there for that moment in time. Just, if you've got a training course or if you've got a webinar going on, promote it, feel free, but don't over promote it. That's the key.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wrap up the podcasts of the show, folks. Andrew's staying on, which you'll be able to watch the extra part of this interview on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. In that extra part, I'm going to be talking about Andrew's experience of collaboration in the WordPress community around products, plugins. What are some of the great things about collaborating with people in the WordPress community, and what are some of the downfalls, and what some of the things you've got to know without being stunned too hard. Andrew's got a lot of experience in that, in a collaboration. I think it's going to be a great bonus content. Like I say, you can watch that on the WP-Tonic YouTube channel. Also, if you really want to support the show, we are trying with Andrew's help as well. We're in early stages, but we're really trying to build a community on Facebook. That's the WP-Tonic Mastermind group. If you make your living out of WordPress, join us on that group. It's all about helping you with the business side of WordPress and any technical or any kind of questions you might have, where you're trying to find a community of WordPress entrepreneurs and experts that have gone down the road which you're trying to go down. Please join us there. We're, like I say, trying to build a real community there. So, Andrew, how can people find out more about you and what you're up to?
I think the best thing is to go to thisisandrewpalmer.com. That kind of tells you the story of where I'm at and what I'm doing. And you can find me at Arnie Palmer on Twitter, and I post occasionally.
Yep, and we'll be back next week with another interview. Remember, watch the rest of this interview on our YouTube channel. And if you really want to support the show, you can go over to iTunes player, podcast player. I'm always forgetting what Apple are renaming their podcast platform, and give us a review. If good, bad, or indifferent, because it really does help the show. Your feedback is most welcome, even if it's a bit negative. I do read. If you really want to get my attention, leave a review on Apple. That really does get my attention. We'll see you next week with another great interview. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
So on to bonus content. Like I said, when I was wrapping up the podcast part of the show, Andrew, you've got a lot of experience about working with various other entrepreneurs in the WordPress ecosystem. And I think that's one of its great strengths and makes it a little bit different to other platforms or other areas of the internet, that you can build these relationships and incorporate in working together to build something really great. But it's probably also got its darker side as well. First of all, would you agree with this statement that it's one of the great strengths as you get involved in WordPress, that you can have these scenarios where you're working with other people to build either a plugin, a service, or something?
Definitely. I mean, you know, I've had great success at working with a few people, either on helping them promote or helping them come up with ideas. I mean, the 22 plugins that I acquired, I mean, 18 of them were my idea. You know, so so I've kind of got them back, if you like. You know, I couldn't program them. You know, Sean Barton is a particularly talented programmer, but I've got the support system, I've got the team behind me, so we can support them properly, and we modernize them all because they needed to be modernized. And so working with Sean on that, we worked together for 5+ years on Elegant Marketplace. It took me 18 months to get him involved on Elegant Marketplace with as being a vendor, but you know, once we did, we saw phenomenal success for Sean. And now, you know, Elegant Themes have got their own marketplace. It's kind of taken away the sales, the massive sales that Elegant Marketplace had. And of course, I don't own it either. So I don't have any control over Elegant Marketplace and what they're doing. And I'm a vendor myself on there. So that's a great success story. In fact, I don't think I've had any particular issues where I've had a failure. I've worked with a couple of plugin developers that don't really keep you informed on what they're doing as joint ventures, and that's a bit annoying, but that's generally because they're plugin developers and they're like that. So you have to keep control of what your expectations are as well. So, you know, I've got a standard JV, a joint venture agreement, and, you know, if neither of us meet it, then, you know, we can get out of it and stuff. But there's normally, from my perspective, there's normally a financial input, because I'm the investor, if you like. And I've had one failure in the last 6 years, so it's not too bad. But, you know, I collaborate with people like Vito Peleg, and we collaborate on a daily basis. We're building something now which we're quite excited about. Not going to mention it really, but there's, you know, we built Wahi.io because, you know, he did the agency summit, which I was involved in with Stephanie Hudson. We were both co-hosts on that, you know, so that's collaboration as well. You know, meeting up with people that you know but don't know very well, and then all of a sudden you end up working 18 hours a day with them for a couple of days, and you think, oh, actually you're all right, I get on with you. So it's those kind of collaborations. Well, Munir Kamal of Gutenberg Hub, you know, he managed to, I helped him with his marketing on that, and I helped him with the implementations and the kind of direction that he was going in. And we managed to sell that to Extendify. It's now owned by Extendify. So those kind of things are great to collaborate on. You know, Vito with WP Feedback, we managed to sell quite a few of WP Feedback on Elegant Marketplace as well. Watchful, we've collaborated with Elegant Marketplace as well. So, you know, now you can do on Watchful, you can update your premium plugins by just putting in license code into Watchful. Those kind of WP-Tonic, you know, Grid Pane, with collaborating with, or not collaborating with, you know, I'm part of Grid
You're
Pane.
their evangelist in Europe.
I'm a Spartan for them, you know. And
you call it a Spartan, I call it an evangelist.
Yeah, we didn't want to call it an evangelist. I'm a Spartan, so every opportunity I get, that when it's appropriate, you know, I'll help them.
Why don't, just out of interest, why do you not like the word evangelist?
I don't like the religious connotation.
Right.
You know, I'm an agnostic or an atheist, and I just don't like it. You know, so I think Spartan, and also Spartan kind of says it all, doesn't it? We're against the crowd, you know. Sparta.
Sparta. You just, you know, like the emphasis.
Grid Pane is a great company, but it's small, but it's also got fantastic aspirations, and it helps agencies grow their business like that. I mean, you know, so you've got those kind of, that's why I'm involved, because I like the opportunity that something like Grid Pane gives. I like the opportunity that Divi gives, because Divi, you know, it's got millions of websites built on it, but it's smaller. You know, the guys that I mentioned, the Beaver Builder and Elementor and all that. Yeah, but without Divi, thousands of people wouldn't have an opportunity to make some money. And the same with Elementor, and the same with Beaver Builder. You know, and Beaver Builder is actually one of my favorites because of the story. It was an itch that they needed scratched. They used
and
it.
They're just great. I'm going to have do outreach and have them come back.
Well, Roby's a brilliant guy, and he's the only one I know. I wish I knew the other guys, but I only know Roby. I've met him 2 or 3 times. He's just a fantastic bloke, and they've got, you know, and that's the key about WordPress. People in
they are actually a very. They are what you see, which is not always the case, listeners and viewers. No, some of the people I know in the WordPress community, their public persona really doesn't match their private. I will never name names, but
you got to say, what you see is what you get, unfortunately, you know. And I'm not any different. I mean, I do get a little bit annoyed that people are slightly untruthful or slightly not. They're totally in it for themselves. I mean, we do. I'm not.
It's a balance, isn't it?
I mean, I coach. I mean, actually, every single person I coach currently is pro bono. You know, because
there are. I use this phrase, Andrew. There's some people, and it's not just only WordPress or online. It's any industry, I would imagine. But there are a small minority of people, as I put it, that would sell their mother into slavery for $1.
There are, but I mean, that's life, you know. It's normal human beings. I mean, you know, when people see an opportunity, you've got some people in this business that are really, really successful, and you will never have heard of them. You know, because for whatever reason. You know, I don't know whether they're a woman or whether they're a
They just choose. They just
colour
don't.
or
They're not interested in the public
we ignore.
limelight, are
You
they?
know, we have to make sure that, and this is where I want to go with diversity and everything. Everybody is welcome in the WordPress community, so it's said. But actually, there's a lot of diversity issues that we need to get over in WordPress, and we need to address that, and we need to be able to. And one of the things that I
it's a general issue in tech in general. You know, apart from the big tech companies importing cheap labor, cheap coding through visas. Apart from that, and it comes with the history of WordPress. As a project, it's highly development influenced and focused for obvious reasons. But the majority of initially the majority of those type of developers were white male of a certain age.
That's fine, but that's life as well. You know, that's general life. I work a lot in the catering world, and I have done most of my adult life from the age of about 16. I was a waiter at Heathrow Airport, you know, and I saw hundreds of people on delayed flights. We only worked in one restaurant which specifically dealt with delayed flights, and I was the only white guy there.
Yeah.
You know, and we were treated like shit. I mean, we really were. All of us were treated like shit. So it was just like, because we were waiters and we were 16, and I'd left home I was living on my own in Hounslow in London when I was 16 anyway. I had a job, it was great earner, but we were treated like crap every single day.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure that everybody that works with you, no matter who they are, what they want to be, is treated as kindly as possible.
Well, it's not very difficult, is it? But a lot of people seem to have difficulty with this concept. Well, treat others the way that you would want to be treated.
Ego's getting in the way. There's middle management, there's upper management. As soon as you give someone a title, they just seem to go. I had one person working with me, and I gave them a director. I gave them a 20% share of the business because they really worked hard, And as soon as I gave them that 20%, they stopped working hard, and they explained to themselves. They said they introduced themselves at a networking meeting as a director of a company, the company that we were doing at the time. And I said, no, you're not. You produce CDs for people. That's what you do. It doesn't matter what you think you are or what your title is. You produce CDs, and that's what you do. Never ever introduce yourself as a director of a company. You know, you always introduce yourself as what you can solve people for at a networking event. You know, normally, hello, I'm Andy Palmer, I play golf and I try and earn a little bit of money.
I am the CEO. All this garbage, all this crap, isn't it?
You know, you just let's bring back a little bit of humbleness in this world. Yeah, all right, I've done okay, you know, but I've bloody had to work for it. You've done okay, you've had to work for it, but you don't. It doesn't mean that.
My problem's been keeping the money. It's like a sieve, you know, through various personal catastrophes. It's not been exactly making it, it's been keeping hold of it. That's been the problem, Andrew.
I know, but I used to have a business partner, and they made one of my developers cry. That's not on. That really isn't on. Shouted at them so much they made them cry. I mean, really?
Really? You know, really?
Why are you like that? Just go away and stop being nasty and horrible. You know, it just doesn't matter. Nothing in this business is life or death, Jonathan. It really isn't. So, you know, if somebody's made a mistake, you address that and you say, why was that mistake made? Let's try and not do it again. What can we do to fix it?
All right, Andrew, we're going to wrap up this bonus part. I think it's been really interesting. You have to come back in 6 months and have another chat, because you're one of the more interesting individuals I've come across recently, because of the breadth of your experience. And We love you coming on the show, and thank you for being such a regular and supporter of the Roundtable show.
You're welcome.
Um, We'll see you next week, folks, where we have another great interview. I've got another great personality joining us next week. We've got Spencer Forum joining us. I don't know if Stephen's going to be there, or maybe Andrew can help me as the co-host. It depends on things, but it should be, to say the least, it's going to be an interesting interview. It's always interesting interviewing Spencer Forum. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye.
See ya. Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it.